What's up, everyone? Roger Alvarado here from The Real Breakdown, ready to give you guys the real breakdown on yet another film. Today, I'm going to be talking about A Quiet Place. What can I say about this movie? Wow. This movie thoroughly impressed me, guys. As many of you know, I am not the biggest fan of scary movies or thrillers. Doesn't mean I don't watch them, it's just not really my thing. But I watched the trailer for this, and I was really intrigued by the storyline. John Krasinski obviously plays Jim from The Office, if any of you guys have seen that show. He actually directs this movie. And then Emily Blunt, she's from Sicario. She's done a few other things. She's going to be Mary Poppins soon. I like both of them very, very much. So walking out of this movie, my first impressions walking out were, wow, this movie is suspenseful. This movie is a very, very suspenseful movie. They actually do a very good job of carrying the suspense all the way throughout the film. And I actually walked out raving about the ending. I'm not going to spoil it, but the ending is pretty crazy. I didn't expect it. I didn't see it coming. It's not really like a cliffhanger, but it kind of is. So I'm not going to go much more into it, but I really, really dug the ending. I thought it was really fun, and it made me want to watch more of it. So yeah, I thought it was really good. It really impressed me. A lot better than I thought it was going to be. Not that I had good expectations going into it, but it kind of surpassed them. But I'm not going to say it was the best film of the year. So I highly recommend you guys watch the trailer so that you guys can get the backstory on this movie. Basically what it is, it's like this post-apocalyptic world in which these creatures, I guess, have invaded Earth. They are attracted to sound. So you have to live without making sound. So imagine that. That premise alone kind of got me. I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. So you have to learn sign language. You can't make any sounds. You got to be careful where you're walking. You have to completely change the way that you live. I mean, and to just think about that's pretty interesting. Going into it thinking about that, I didn't know what to expect. So some of the things that I really liked about this movie was, number one, the acting. I thought Emily Blunt and John Krasinski did phenomenal. Their acting chops were on display. Obviously, since they're married, I thought their chemistry worked great. The two kids that are in the movie as well, I thought they did a really good job in conveying emotions without saying anything, which is actually another positive, is the fact that there's no sound and the fact that they have to convey certain emotions and they have to tell a story without really any sound at all. I'm going to tell you right now, there's barely any dialogue in this film, and the little bit that there is powerful, and so every single sound counts. Even when there is no sound, that also counts. So I think they did such a great job as to, like, okay, when there isn't a sound, we're going to show these images to show this feeling. And when there is sound, we're going to lightly put it in here. And, they picked the spots perfectly as far as, like, where they were going to put sound and where they weren't. And they used it beautifully. So that was a huge plus. And so going back to the acting, I think that, for me, Emily Blunt stole the show. Her acting in this is phenomenal. There's certain scenes where she's going through things and she's just trying to convey these emotions without making any sound, just through visuals. And I was like, oh my gosh, wow. That she did really, really good. I mean, I'd even say some of the best acting I've seen in a long time. And there's certain scenes where you're just like, oh, I can't believe she's going through this, So good stuff, really, really good stuff. Another positive that I would definitely have to say is the storyline. I thought that the storyline, the way that they played it and the way that they conveyed it is like, yeah, there's some things that are predictable. Like, okay, that this is going to happen. But the build-up to that moment, they do it so great because there's certain things that are just like, they tease you. They're like, yo, this is going to happen. And it's going to come back later. And you're like, and then when it's going to happen, you're like, oh my God. So they played with my emotions very, very well. So it's a really good suspense film, and I thought that the storyline, even though there was some predictability, there were also some moments where there are twists and turns, and that's part of the story. And so I thought that the story had a good amount of twists and turns. It might have actually had a little too many, and that might actually go into my negatives a bit. But in the end, I like where the story went. I didn't really see the ending coming, really, but it was kind of cool. So... Oh, another thing was, the creature, I mean, I'm just going to call it the Demogorgon because it really reminded me of Stranger Things. But it's not the Demogorgon. But that's another thing, too, was like this film, I heard a few people walking out of the theater saying, like, oh, I felt vibes of this movie, Alien vs. Predator. I felt vibes of, like, this other movie. Oh, I felt vibes from this. And I have to say, I did feel that. I felt like they took the best pieces of these other films, put it together in a new scenario, and that really worked for me. I mean, I felt Stranger Things vibes. I felt I Am Legend vibes. I felt Alien vibes, you know? So that's something that I really have to credit the movie with. So yeah, so going into a bit of my negatives, guys, one of them would probably have to be that, like I said, there's a lot going on in the movie, and there are a few times where I'm just like, okay, if all of this is going on at the same time, man, this just happens to be the worst day of this person, you know? So it's like, there were a few times where they kind of stretched it a little too much, and I was like, all right, it's kind of not believable anymore, you know? But, and that's actually another one of the negatives for me, was that, like, there were some things that were just a little bit too convenient. I'm like, what are the odds that all this happens, you know, at this place, at this time? But you know what? I mean, that's part of the movie, and honestly, it didn't really take away from it for me. So even though there were moments where I was like, really? Are you sure? Come on. I still really like the movie. I definitely would recommend it. I think that it's a movie. And another thing that I'll mention is that this movie, it's going to be labeled as a thriller or a suspense film. But honestly, I think it works well as a complete movie. I mean, you'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll get scared. There are jump scares in it, so if that's what you're looking for, there are some of those there. But then there's other deeper meanings, there's other deeper storylines, and they really did those very well. I think the characters worked very well together. So this film, I think, will be more than a thriller, and it can be for the whole family. It really is overall a great film. If you guys get a chance, check it out in theaters. If not, I definitely recommend you getting it on Blu-ray or catching it on Netflix or something like that. So that right there is the real breakdown for A Quiet Place. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, hit the like button. Also hit that subscribe button so you guys can see all my content that's coming soon. Let me know what you thought in the comments below, and we'll catch you next time, guys.